Hello and welcome to season 3, episode 25 of Quaint and Cozy KC. I am your host, Lainey Renee, and today is just I'm recording this on a very busy Saturday, right? Very busy. And I'm doing what everybody does on the weekends. I think, most people I know, I shouldn't say everybody. But you're kind of catching up with everything during the week, making sure you've got, things ready to go to start the week tomorrow and all that stuff. And then also you're like, okay, but I do need to relax a little bit. So I seem to kind of fluctuate between both. And so I do have two podcasts, I do have two blogs just because, my interests are so varied. And I was like, okay, I'm balancing like doing all the content creation for both of them. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm like taking 15-minute breaks. And then I'm like, okay, but I still have to record an episode of Quaint and Cozy KC. So I can't get too relaxed. So here I am right now. And today I'm going to keep it really simple because we're in the holiday times. And, I've been doing this podcast since the beginning of 2023. And something I noticed is that by the time I get everything through, like I want to talk about with the holidays, it's already December 10th. Now, I'm not saying you can't start your holiday kind of like, journey at that time, but a lot of things are already booked up if you've got to get tickets in advance, or there's logistical things, and then you're dealing with weather. So I'm really glad that some of these things are kind of starting a little bit on the earlier side, just to kind of, so, get people going on it. And so I want to talk about, in the last episode, I did talk about like the cozy museums and the things that they were doing. And I gave you a link to like holiday events in Kansas City. I'll also drop that same link, but today it's going to be less about what's going on in Kansas City per se, and it's going to be more about just ideas, some keywords for listeners and myself too. As I was doing my research, and some of my research is my own memory, and then I take that memory and I kind of like plug that into the internet, and then I get more ideas from that. So kind of like that. So I have a long list. And you don't have to do like whenever I see bingo cards, I'm like, yeah, those are great ideas. But then I think sometimes we feel pressured to like complete all of the bingo cards. And some of the bingo cards are very simple, but some of them it's like, now what do I have to do with an eye of the newt or something? So I want to keep it really simple. And remember, maybe you just do one or two of these things on the list every year and you kind of change it up. Like if you do like some kind of ugly Christmas sweater party, this year, and then you might do caroling, and then maybe next year you do more tree lighting, and then maybe you do more of like a cookie swap, right? You don't have to do all of the things during the holiday season, right? I know people feel pressure to do so because you might have kids, and then family members going, well, we got to do all these things, we got to do all these things. And so you're trying to keep traditions alive, but you're trying to make new traditions too. And so all the things. And so I'm just here to tell you this is what's available. And there's nothing ever stopping you from making a new tradition, right? There's nothing stopping you. And that tradition doesn't even have to be elaborate. So without further ado, I'm going to go through this list and it's kind of long. I'm going to like, elaborate here and there, but I'm trying not to make the podcast more than 30 minutes. So we'll see if I succeed. Okay. So let's start it off with tree lightings or like drive-through light displays. So, the plaza every year does have like on Thanksgiving night, everybody rushes or a lot of people rush to like see the plaza lights kind of like flick on. And that's great. But you know what? There are other cities around the Kansas City Metro that you can check that out for as well. Like, there's a lot of things if you wanted something, it's a little bit smaller up here. If you come up north, or if you go to like one of the Johnson County suburbs, it might not be as busy. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be the tree lighting in your neck of the woods. Just go pick a tree lighting. They're literally happening like all throughout like December. So again, then also the drive-through light displays. So if you can't make a tree lighting because people can't get out of the car, it's just too much. You got toddlers that like to be on the run. Then think about the drive-through light displays that are going to be going on. So that's something else to kind of look up throughout town. And again, I will drop that visitkc.com article again, once again, in my show notes. So again, think about that. Also visiting Santa. And I know that, there's all these like places, these big places that do it. And it's like, yeah, I went to such and such mall and visited with Santa. But as I stated in my last podcast, there are also like, local museums doing it as well. There's other places that are doing this. So just kind of like maybe kind of like I always say think outside the box. It just feels so cliched right now, but just kind of think a little bit differently, right? It could be a little bit of a smaller affair. All you want to do is get a pic with like Santa or Mrs. Claus or both, and take a pic with like the Christmas tree, all that stuff. You can do that anywhere. You really can. So again, something to keep in mind. You don't have to spend a lot of money unless you want to. Okay, also think about like let's say you don't have a lot of time. You could do some festive photos. You can do festive photos. You can take pictures around your own Christmas tree or a Christmas tree that's like, like a lit up Christmas tree at one of the downtowns. Like I went to Zona Rosa, and obviously they don't have their lights up and whatever, but I know from previous years they have a beautiful light display. They've got beautiful things, you can take like pictures with or video or whatever. Something to think about. Okay, just something to think about. You can do your own like family photos or friend photos or just do some selfies, buy some Christmas decorations. I don't know, whatever you get down with, okay? Something else, tree decorating. Decorating your own tree or decorating a tree at someone's house. And again, these trees, and I know Pinterest is amazing. I know social media is amazing to be like, oh my gosh, I wish. But think about the reality, okay? Think about the reality. You might not have a lot of time to put up the tree or take down the tree. So think about getting one of those. And if you're one of those people, think about getting like a tabletop tree, like doing something like that, or doing like, a smaller tree and then just, decorating it with love. Also think about if you don't have room for a tree, and sometimes people don't literally have room for or you got a cat that is like or an animal likes just like to knock stuff over and you have to put your tree stuff all up. You know what it is. Think about doing like some kind of Christmas or holiday. Maybe you just do like a gallery wall, someplace where your pet that doesn't want you to live your best life can't reach it. Or maybe it's something where instead of doing all that, if your cat or pet is a real hater, then you can maybe kind of bring out the Christmas plates and glassware. Maybe that's more of what you'll be able to do just to show that festive spirit. You can always like kind of put things on the wall high enough. Again, if you've got a hater cat, something like that, or if you've got curtains or blankets or something like that, you can change everything. You can do it that way too. You can always change out curtains for holiday curtains or do some decorative holiday pillows. You get the idea. So really kind of like think beyond, if you really want to do the holiday spirit. Now, if you don't, that's cool. I mean, I still support you. I still support you. But if that's what's stopping you, if that's the barrier for like, I can't do it because of XYZ, but you want to, think about decorative pillows, think about the decor, something that, your pet might not necessarily be able to like knock down. Okay. Okay, now we're moving on. What about a simple gathering of cocoa and cookies? I know it sounds cheesy, but when we were kids, Gen Xers, maybe elder millennials as well, we were kids. That was kind of like the best part of the holiday season because there was always that. If you went to church, they would have like that one, like maybe on December 7th, they would do, cocoa and cookies in the afternoon, and you would go and after church and tromp over there and have your cookies and cocoa and hang out and Santa might show up or not. Or, one time, I don't think we had Santa. I think we had Mrs. Claus was there or something. I don't know. Something like that. Santa couldn't make it for whatever reason. Santa's really busy. But so we had Mrs. Claus. We talked to Mrs. Claus and there were some elves and, stuff like that. I mean, just think about that. That's something to kind of like, think about, maybe dressing up. Again, simple gathering. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And, all you need is cocoa and some cookies or even cocoa and a veggie tray, whatever it is. Very simple to do. And you can do something from like, and make it an open house style, like, where it's like, it's from 1 to 3. And you do that. And then everything, everybody goes home. It's like a 2 hour thing. You kind of come in, have some cocoa, talk to people and go. Now, next is the holiday open house. Now, this one's a little bit more involved, right? Because there's going to be like a buffet kind of there, and people are going to gather. And my sister does one every year. She's done have one every year for years, and it's really fun. She starts the fun off at 3 p.m. and because it's a Sunday, and then usually now one year I don't know if she'd do it on a Saturday. There's some kind of thing, and people stayed for a very long time. But generally, her parties run from about 3 to like 8:30, and it's great because people who can't really drive at night can come in and have fun for a few hours, and then they can turn around and they can turn around and go back to where they need to go or something like that. So again, something to just kind of keep in mind. Also, you can always do it like when there's a football game, because there's lots of football games. If you're into sports or soccer, you can have people just dress up like, hey, bring your favorite kind of ugly sweater thing, come watch the game with us. It can be just that simple because you were gonna watch the game anyway. And there you go. Maybe have some like Christmas things or whatever. And there you go. Next, what about a holiday movie night or movie afternoon, right? Because some people don't drive at night. Something like that. Get like a Christmas story, watch it, or do like TV shows, something like that. Nothing too fancy, nothing too, and nothing that where you have to really pay attention. It's kind of like you can kind of like zoom in and out, like those old like Christmas story kind of things. Like I've only seen Elf one time. That was kind of against my will. I mean, it was okay, it was good, but I was like, it's not my vibe. But um, something like that. Just think about that or some, classic TV shows. That would be fun too. Then crafting. What about doing some crafting? Or if you don't want to like do all the construction paper stuff and whatever, what about taking some ornaments and like maybe painting them or something like that? Like getting some already, created ornaments. And I think they have like plain ones and that you can paint or throw stickers on or decoration. Just something fun, right? Doesn't have to be super fancy. Again, something fun. And then what about ice skating? Now, I haven't been ice skating for a very long time, so that's on my list of things to do. It always is, and I always seem to miss out because I don't get there in time or whatever. But I'm really going to try this year to go ice skating because I haven't been, and I'll probably have one of those little things that the kids have because I haven't been in so long. But also, if you can't ice skate, go to the roller skating rink. They have like, family day or adult skate night if you don't want to deal with those kids. And throw on a Christmas sweater, or throw on a holiday sweater. You can always do that. There's nothing stopping you from doing an ugly sweater at the roller rink, at the roller skating rink or the ice skating rink. Okay, what about now? The Polar Express is a big one, right? And a lot of places have like these kind of like excursion trains that kind of ride you around. I did this years ago. Like they ride you around for like it's probably about a 45-minute ride each way and they feed you and you talk and it's super cozy. And some of them are more like a 30-minute thing where you kind of go and you might get like some drinks or you might get like a couple snacks and then you kind of like look at the scenery and they tell you a story about the area or there'll be some singers coming through singing Christmas carols, like harmonizing. It's super cozy, super quaint. I mean, again, super fun. And then what about a game night? Some kind of game. I know I'm always like game night. You could do a game night and wear your ugly sweaters and all that stuff. Also, you know what? Why not? If it's something like that, why not do a puzzle night too? You could have games for people, game night, and then people that don't want to play, they could just sit and assemble puzzles, right? I mean, don't get one of those hard ones. Don't get that lighthouse that has like two shades of blue and they're both dark blue and you have to hold them up and then it takes you like 3 days just to get like one little corner, something a little bit more where it's like I don't know, a unicorn or something like that, or something where you can actually see where the different puzzle pieces can go. And there are different puzzles out there that can tell you like, oh, this is like more of like a 2 hour puzzle or a 1 hour puzzle. I know, skill levels might vary, so that might, not be very accurate, but still, like, don't get the super hard puzzles to use. Same with the games. Try to have a game that's upbeat. Don't play Monopoly, y'all. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to tell people that is not, don't do Monopoly and don't do Uno because Uno starts out fun. And I always have fun playing Uno. If I lose, okay, whatever. I don't really care. But some people, it triggers something within them and they're like, I must win. And it gets crazy. So those are some games that I would not recommend, Monopoly or Uno, for a game night unless you guys can all be good when it's done, right? I'm just thinking like maybe Trivial Pursuit or, maybe charades or, maybe win, lose, or draw, something like that. Way better than doing something super competitive. Okay. Just so people can stay friends. Okay. Now, what about a cookie swap or a dessert swap? Something like that. And again, doesn't have to be fancy. It can be, I mean, dessert can be anything. Okay. It can be, like I prefer dessert swaps versus cookie swaps because sometimes it's hard to get cookies right. Not everyone can make cookies. I'm one of those people where when my cookie game is on, it's on. But when it's not on, it's not great. It turns into I call it like if my cookies get really like if they're too hard, what I do is I basically use a rolling pin and I kind of beat them down and I turn them into like cookie dust and I will sprinkle them on I sprinkle them on ice cream. Okay, I sprinkle them on something like that. Or if I have like a little extra whipped cream, I'll like put a cookie topping. I turn it into a topping. That's what I do. But I don't want to be like handing out bags of top like cookie toppings versus people that actually gave me cookies. So I prefer to do dessert swaps, like so that I can do like my cake bites, something like that. Just way friendlier to me than trying to do cookies. But everybody's different. What about a Secret Santa? That might be fun, or doing like a Yankee swap. Yankee swaps can sometimes get kind of crazy because people forget the rules and they argue about the rules. But doing a Secret Santa and keep and having a price point for it, right? Don't like say like sometimes I did a Secret Santa one time and they did not. Again, this was during the mid 2000s when everyone had money, but like there was no price limit on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I do not like my gift was like $30. I maxed out at $30. I got a gift and I swear to God, it cost $75. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought we were keeping it to $30. But again, have 30, make it like a $25. Nothing over $25 or $20, like that kind of thing. Now I tend to, I'm gonna be really honest, like people will say, okay, who'd you draw and whatever. And then it's like if you don't know them super well, then you just kind of know what they like. You have an inkling of what they might like. I do gift cards. I know people talk about, well, you're not person. I've been giving gift cards out or gift certificates as they were known before since like forever. Okay. Like I'm like, okay, this person likes this bakery, you're getting a gift card to it. But here's the deal with gift cards. Make sure if at all possible, okay, if you want to support a local business, make sure the local business is actually close to the person you're giving the card to. Okay. Like whether it's across the street from where they work or like in their neighborhood. Otherwise, it becomes a burden because then they gotta like, if you do something that's way out of the way, then they have to plan their whole day around it versus like, oh, this is like a mile away from their house. They're more likely to use it in a timely manner. And sometimes local businesses might change their gift card policies. They might unfortunately close. So you don't want to give somebody that card and then it's like they can't ever get to the place. Okay. Just something to keep in mind logistics wise. Okay. Now, speaking of, I've talked about all the fun things. What about another really fun thing is maybe doing a toy drive or organizing your friends to like, donate to a toy drive or adopting a family and again, maybe sometimes you might know the family, okay? And you just keep it on the low, 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 low. And so people don't feel like they're losing dignity, like like that kind of thing. Just again, it's like it's really beautiful to, be generous and whatever, but you want to make sure that it's going to be well received, that it's not going to feel like kind of weird for the person on the receiving end. Just FYI, sometimes it's easier to do the toy drive or adopt a family you don't know or figure out another way to kind of help out somebody you do know, but you got to be really delicate with that. Okay, now also I talked about as I talked about in my last episode, museums. Lots of museums. I talked about the cozy ones in my last episode, but there are bigger ones too that are doing things. So again, just keep that in mind, and also the light displays, and a lot of museums might be doing that. A lot of them are doing, they might be doing exhibits on ornaments. They might be doing like all kinds of things. There might be a lecture series. Something else I really like is the night before Christmas. I love those events where you can go hear it live. Of course, you can do it. You can hear it on YouTube and you play it or whatever. But I love it when you can hear it live because there's something really super cozy about that. Okay. I definitely believe when it comes to holidays, anything can become holiday like with the right seasonings on the food, the decor, the clothing, and just creating that holiday vibe and not trying to do everything every holiday season. Just keeping it mellow, maybe get your top three things you want to do, and then just stick with that. And if there's more things that end up falling into your lap, or you go, oh, you know what? I guess I do have the bandwidth for it. Perfect. But also make sure that you don't wait until December 15th to like start looking at things because a lot of things are going to be booked or they're going to be like long gone or it's just going to be like a hassle trying to like get everybody together. So just kind of right now, and I would even say like probably like earlier this month in November was the perfect time, but the second best time is right now to kind of get those holiday plans. And even if you just do one holiday event with your friends, and maybe that one holiday event is after Thanks is like the day after Thanksgiving or the weekend after Thanksgiving, and it kicks it off. Perfect. And also realize, sometimes people have different, views and vibes about the holidays. So if someone is kind of like, you know what, I don't do holidays. It's not for me. I'm good, like on my own, whatever. Okay, cool. Like, don't pressure people. Like, hey, you're always welcome. Say that and then move on. Okay. Because we don't want to be dragging people into the holiday spirit if that's not where they want to be. On that note, thank you so much for joining me for my quick Quaint and Cozy KC holiday guide, kind of, of things to kind of do. And then um, you guys can find me at quaintandcozykc.com. I'm on Facebook as Quaint and Cozy KC, Tickety Tockety Quaint and Cozy KC, Instagram Quaint and Cozy KC, and YouTube on Quaint and Cozy KC. Thank you so much, everyone, for the support. And, you know, because of you guys and all the support, my YouTube channel has been growing. My shorts, they have been growing. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, the long form videos, it's not, there's a few here and there, but I feel like that's just like a general, like public attention span thing. Like I haven't quite, caught on yet with the long videos, but the short videos, definitely getting lots of views, definitely getting feedback on those on YouTube and TikTok and all that. So thanks again for the support. It really means a lot. Take care, everyone, and I will talk to you soon.